Do you have any friends that you spend a lot of time with and then you don't see them for a long time, but the second you start talking to them, it's like you never left their presence and you're friends for a very long time? That is this next guy. He is Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist, Doug Kammerer, the most watched weatherman in DC. Doug.
Amy Freeze. How you doing, girl?
Good, DK. Good to talk to you. All right, so it's been a
Always
minute
good talking to you.
It's been a minute since we were back in Philly, the good old days.
Yeah.
I feel like I see you every day, though, because I have become a fan of the walk-in.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I love the walk-in. Now, I'm curious, did the walk-in start because you're like, I'm obligated to do social media, when should I do it?
It was one of those things where, I've been doing stuff on Facebook for a long time, and I started doing Instagram, and I'm just like, what's the easiest thing I can do? And that's just me walking into the building, getting out of my car, walking in, and giving a little brief synopsis of, what we're dealing with weather-wise and what might be happening later today. So it's always been quick. It's always, I try to get it less than a minute, and just doing the walk-in on a daily basis. And every day, as you know, our weather around here is always changing, so it's fun.
Yeah, and I love it because I feel like I'm experiencing a little bit of DC every time, because you're talking about what's going on and all the different seasons are so particular.
Yeah.
Right now, it is cherry blossom prime.
Oh, yeah, and we just hit stage 4 today. So, yesterday we had a high temperature of 76 degrees. Today we're in the 70s again. So we hit stage 3 yesterday, stage 4 today. So, yeah, those cherry blossoms are coming pretty quick. Hence, where we are right now. Right now we're in stage 4, which is called the peduncle elongation.
Oh, I like this.
Did you know that one?
I did not know that, but I'm going to make a note of it from now on. When we left Philly, you actually headed to your dream job, which I love the story about the very first time you were on the green screen, which then eventually led to this dream job. Take people through that, what it was like for you growing up, because you're from DC.
Yeah, from DC. I mean, I've wanted to do weather since I was about 8 years old. I love the weather. I was not blessed with a weather name like you, Freezer. But,
Doug Kammerer loves the camera, and it loves him back.
There you go. So, growing up here in D.C., I used to watch everybody. I used to watch every single channel, especially during severe weather events. But the number one guy in town was a guy named Bob Ryan. Bob Ryan was here at WRC for 26 years. I grew up watching him. I did my 10th grade math report on Bob. I sent him a letter. Again, this goes way back many years. No internet, no email, no text messaging. I sent him a letter. Hey, I'd love to come in and see you. And he sent me a letter back and said, hey, go ahead and give me a call. And we fixed it. And it was the first time I was ever driving on the Beltway here around DC. I'll never forget the drive in. But then I got to meet Bob. We talked a lot about weather. He put me on the green screen for the very first time. That's where I met the anchors, Jim Vance and the late Jim Vance and Doreen Gensler. And one day I got the phone call that I'd be taking over for my idol, the legend, Bob Ryan. And I'm now working with Jim Vance, and I'm now working with Doreen Gensler, these people that I saw so many years ago. So, yes, this was definitely a dream come true for me to come back to my hometown, come back to NBC, and be here where, the station that I grew up watching.
And you're kind of working your way into your own legendary situation, I think, because you're doing such a phenomenal job.
Thanks.
One of the things I love and I recognize is the seasonal forecast, because it takes me back to the days with Hurricane Schwartz. And he would work up these big, long seasonal forecasts. And I learned so much from that. I mean, that's when I first learned about the NAO and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm seeing you do it, and you're doing such a great job. Isn't it cool to see the evolution and the tools that you've learned along the way sort of pay off?
Yeah, it is, because now all of a sudden, I'm the experienced one, right? I mean, when you and I were in Philly, we're learning from a legend. We're learning from Glenn Hurricane Schwartz, and he's teaching us how to do long-range forecast and, teaching us about things that, did we learn in college? Yeah, we learned it in college, but we never knew the actual application of the NAO, of the PDA, all that different stuff, right? So you're looking at these now, and I'm making those forecasts just like I was doing in Philadelphia, and now they're mine, and now I'm putting them on the air with my name on there, and that's something that is really cool for sure. That people are saying that you're the guy with the experience, and I've been here 15 years. So when they're saying, a local legend, you look at it and you go, me? Wait, what are you talking about? But 15 years is a long time, especially in this business. You don't stay, there's not many jobs where you can stay that long. And I've got this one, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
I love it. It's really cool. The long-term forecasting is great. You've also had some incredible severe weather, the short-term forecasting. I did see a little while back the video that went viral. You were actually at the weather wall covering a tornado outbreak, kind of thunderstorms, severe weather coming through. You actually had to stop down and call the kids.
And that's,
you remember that?
I know my wife was out of town, and my kids are a little bit older, so they're fine on their own. But I'm doing this tornado, and I'm covering this tornado, and it's going through Virginia. I live in Bethesda, Maryland. It's going through Tyson's Corner, and I'm looking at this, and I make the polygon to show where this is going, and I'm like, wait a second. I look at it in my head while I'm on the air. I'm talking on the air, but in my head, I'm thinking, this is going right over my house. I've got to call my kids, and I wasn't sure if I should do it. I didn't have any help that day, so a lot of times I'll have help and I can step off for a second. But this day I didn't have any help, and I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm like, all right, I got to call my son, make sure they're safe. I called him. He was playing video games. I'm saying, hey, buddy. I knew they weren't watching me, right? I mean, what kids, they don't watch what we do. But I was able to get to him and tell him to get to the basement with my daughter. And thank goodness that tornado didn't hit our house, didn't hit around us, but it did hit when it went through Tyson's Corner. It did take down a building. So, it's something that I'm glad I was able to do. But doing that on the fly and doing that on the air, definitely a surreal moment for me. Seeing that tornado going towards my house, warning everybody. I'm on television warning everybody, but I know I've got to make that phone call to my kid.
Yeah, the kids are rarely impressed by us. It's one thing that people might go, your kids think it's so cool. They really don't. Do you think either one of your kids would follow in your footsteps, like to do any performance type things?
My daughter might. I mean, my son is very interested in DJing, so he's got all kinds of DJ equipment. So he would want to be the guy that doesn't have to say a whole lot, but at the same time would like to get the crowd going. My daughter is a performer, kind of like me. I mean, her and I, we sing a lot together. We do little acting bits together. So, she's definitely my performer. And I'd love to see her follow that passion. She has yet to really follow it. She's doing sports, which I think is great. But I not only did sports all the way through high school and college, but I also was in theater. I love theater. I love improv, especially. That's one of my favorite things to do. So I would love for her to do that, and I could definitely see her doing something like that.
I knew you were a great athlete. I did not actually know about the performing and so forth.
Yeah.
But you played, you played baseball in college,
Yep.
I think. And did you play a little after that too, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I played some semi-pro ball down in the Southern League. So, that was an option for me. I could have played baseball. But I knew my career path in meteorology was probably a little bit better. The chance of me making it as a meteorologist with my degree was pretty good. The chance of me making it as a baseball player, when you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of guys out there, probably not so good. But I did enjoy my time playing ball, and I'm still playing today. I'm almost 50, Freezer, and I'm still playing today.
I can't believe it. Are you playing on like any teams, rec teams? What?
Yeah, it's an adult league, so it's an over 30 league. I'm still throwing, I'm still pitching, I'm still hitting. So,
okay, weekend warrior.
I'm trying to get out there as much as I can.
There's two weather things I want to talk to you about. The first one is winter-based, which is the rain-snow line, which is, for me, I think the curse of DC is the rain-snow line. Yes, there can be big storms, but quite often, aren't you battling that and just going, how can you sleep at night after the forecast is my question.
That's always the number one question in DC. It's what is the hardest part of your job? What's the hardest forecast? And it's definitely where that rain snow line is. You know how that is. If the cold air creeps in a little bit more, you get more snow. If the warm air creeps in a little bit more, you have a lot less snow. I mean, I'll never forget a storm and here in the DC area. And I had one in Philly when I was there too. And it snowed here in DC for over 6 hours. Jim Cantori was in D.C. for this storm. I'll never forget it. He came in, and when Jim Cantori comes, it's like, oh no, batten down the hatches because here comes Jim. But this was one that I knew had high bust potential. And I don't remember what we said as far as how much we would get. We knew it wouldn't be a lot, but it snowed for 6 hours, and it was coming down. And we officially got a trace of snow at the airport because it all melted the entire time. I've had that in Philadelphia too. Same exact thing where it's snowing, it's coming down, but the surface temperatures are too warm. The temperatures before the storm are just too warm. So that rain snow line is something where I've seen it where DC in one season a couple of years ago we had 30 inches of snow for the season. That's a lot for Washington D.C. Frederick, Maryland, which is a 25-minute drive from my house, had 80 inches of snow that season. And that's because they're so much farther to the north and west.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. It shows you the vulnerability, though, of DC, where you can get on those real tricky forecasts. So that was one I wanted to talk to you about. Then the other one is, I can't believe this is 20 years ago that we're talking about it, but 2004, 2005 were enormous hurricane seasons. That was the season we were working together. We were covering storms. I remember being Hurricane Isabel. You're back in the studio. You also covered a lot of storms that season. I remember in Florida. And at the time for you and I, these were record seasons. They've since taken a back seat to other seasons that have come past. But I know you love hurricanes. When you start to look at what's in front of us as we start June 1 hurricane season, any insights, any things you're thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've noticed is those sea surface temperatures have kind of come down a little bit in the Atlantic and the Gulf. So that I think is good. We're moving into what's expected to be a fairly weak El Nino. So maybe that takes a little bit out of the hurricane season, but we're in an uptick right now. And this is something I don't think a lot of people talk about, how, hurricane seasons are cyclical. So you go through decades like the 30s, 50s, 70s. We didn't have a whole lot in the 90s. And all of a sudden in the 2000s, we're back into a lot of hurricanes hitting the U.S. mainland. As you know, we could have 25 storms, but if none of them hit the United States, it's not a big system. So we've actually had a lot of storms that have come through areas like Florida. The Gulf Coast has been hit especially hard. And it's one of those situations now that I think we're in that cycle that we are seeing more hurricanes hit the United States. What is that? I think it is cyclical. Once again, this goes all the way back towards the 30s, even before the satellite era. So this is less of a climate change aspect and more of the Atlantic and the cyclone, maybe the decadal oscillation going on in the Atlantic as well as the Pacific decadal oscillation too, having a big impact on those things.
Yeah, it's really important in looking at those sort of bigger scientific explanations and sort of investigating that. Sometimes people don't have time for that on a 2-minute broadcast, but it is things you can talk about on blogs, you can talk about in different weather discussions. I think it's all fascinating and important for people to learn about because so many people are trying to make these decisions about policies or politics or whatever, and they're kind of getting a sliver of the big picture. And so I love that you brought that up. That's really cool. When you're thinking back to your career, first of all, where were you before Philly? I forget.
Orlando,
that's right.
Yeah, I remember I was in Jacksonville and Orlando. I was in Florida for 4 years, had 0 hurricanes make landfall. I come up to Philly, and there's 4 that make landfall, including 3 that go right through Orlando, one of which was Hurricane Charlie, the strongest hurricane to ever hit Orlando. And I'm in Philadelphia at that time, so go figure.
Yeah, that was super crazy. As you look back, though, too, besides covering big storms, there were other really fun things, at least when we were working together. I remember you doing backyard weather. I loved backyard weather. That was such a great segment. Tell people what that was, because they may not know. Do you do anything like that in DC?
Yeah, I do it here as well. I don't do it as much as I did in Philly. I wish I did. we're trying to get more of that done, because what it is, it's just me getting out in the community. And that's something that you were always great at. That's one of the things that I love to do. You get out in the community, you talk to people. I mean, I'm literally in people's backyards and doing the weather in their backyards, talking to them about their family. We always have a ton of fun, whether I'm swimming or doing a cannonball off of somebody's, diving board, or, whatever the case may be. Always eating food. There's going to be some food in there. So, yeah, backyard weather has always been a staple of mine. I love it. I love the fact that I brought it to Philadelphia, and now every other station in Philly does it, and they still do it to this day.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Down the shore weather, all kinds of good memories, all kind of good stuff. Besides what you're doing at the television station, you have a beautiful family. Say hello to Holly for me. I'm really proud to know you because of the success that you've had, not just in your profession, but you're also a great dad and a good friend and so many people. And I wanted to also talk just briefly about your family, because a lot of people may not know you have a ton of brothers. I have 4 sisters, but I think you have like 4 brothers and a sister or something, a big family.
Yeah, and that's something that you and I had in common. I mean, you have all these sisters, I've got all these brothers. So I've got 4 brothers. So there's 5 boys. Isn't there 6 freezers?
There's 5 girls.
5 girls, 5 boys. Yeah, so you have 6. You have 5. I have 5. 5 girls, 5 boys. And you know how it is growing up with the same sex. You learn about guys, and then for me it was learning about what guys do, and then eventually I had to learn the opposite thing. For you is you're growing up with girls, about the girl stuff, but what's the guy stuff going on there? So love my brothers. Unfortunately, they are just like you, all over the country. So I've got a brother in Miami, Tampa, Dallas, Colorado Springs. So I don't get a chance to see them enough. But yeah, that's definitely one of the coolest things, for sure.
I'm sure they're proud of you as well. Anything else we should talk about or catch up on before we go? I don't want to take your time too much, because I know you're going to run in and do some forecasting with the team, and you got a full night in front of you.
Yeah, I got a weather meeting that starts right now. So I'm gonna walk in there. And hey, there's my hand. Hold on. There we go. So I'm gonna walk you through our studio, which is great. Here's one thing. This is one thing that's cool. I no longer have to use a green screen, which is amazing. And I know you've been doing this kind of stuff too. I mean, now our technology is the same, that I can use a big TV now. I can use a huge monitor. So the days of us not knowing where we're pointing are gone. So I kind of like that. I love the fact that technology is increasing all the time, and that we get, not only do we get better and better at our jobs, but our technology gets better and better. So that is something that I'm always happy for. And I was really happy when we got our new building, because I was in this building forever, and now this is our new building right here. It's our new studios. These are my producers. This is my weather meeting right here. So we bring everybody into the weather center to do the weather meeting, and we do it every day right here at 2:30. So that's what I'm going in to do right now.
I love it. I'm going to say goodbye to you, but don't hang up yet, because we're going to upload you. But hey, everybody, have a great day. And Doug, I love talking to you. You're the best. DK, I'll see you on TV.
I miss you, Freezer. Talk to you soon.